going to read before I leave. I want and I request every person who's listening right now, if you just understand this one reference, inshallah, no matter how trained a murabbi is, they cannot deceive you. Ruhani Khazain, volume 7, same book, Hamamatul Bushra, page number 301. I will read their own translation in Urdu, their own translation, and then in English as well before I leave, inshallah. Mirza says, बेशक मुहद्दसियत एक खालिस मोहब्बत है जो शान नबूवत की तरह महज कसब के जरिए हासिल नहीं होती. Mirza is saying that being a muhaddas is a gift from Allah. You cannot attain this just with your own actions, i.e., it is a wahbi, not kasbi. No matter how much following of Allah you do, you cannot get this. It is a muhabbat. Muhabbat means it is a wahbi. Allah gifts this. Now, then he says, Allah muhaddisin se isi tarah kalam karta hai. He says that Allah speaks to this muhaddas in the same way as Allah speaks to a prophet. And then he says, and muhaddas is appointed in the same way as a messenger is appointed. Then he says, a muhaddas drinks from the same well as the prophet drinks. Now, next point is going to clarify. And by the way, this Ahmad guy, he did quote this reference. But inshallah, I'm giving you the full reference now. Then he says, there is no doubt that muhaddas is a prophet from one angle. And then he says, this is the secret that when Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was giving the title to Umar as muhaddas, and then he says, pas aapne, hence it is proven, what is it? आपने अपने मज़कूरा कौल के बाद फरमाया. He said, after Prophet sallam give the title of muhaddas to Umar, then Prophet said, لو كان بعدي نبيا لكان Umar. That if there was a prophet after me, it would have been Umar. And then this was page 301. And now he's concluding the whole discussion on page 302. So what you learned so far, he said that because he was claiming to be a muhaddas, the one who Allah speaks to, allegedly. No problem. We are discussing his point now. He said that, but muhaddas cannot be called a prophet. If there was a possibility for a muhaddas to be called a prophet, then Umar would have been called a prophet. And then he says the following on page 302. I read in Urdu as well because some people understand Urdu. मत ख्याल कर कि मैंने कोई ऐसी बात कह दी है जिसमें दावा नबूवत की बू पाई जाती है. He says that don't think that I have said something that can even smell like a claim of prophethood. Let me repeat again. He says, don't think that I have said something that can even resemble to the smell of prophethood. And then he says, जैसा कि मेरे ईमान और मेरी इज्जत पे दलेरी से हमला करने वालों समझ रखा है. He says that as these people who are attacking on my iman and on my honor, they are saying all of that. What they are saying? That, oh Mirza, you are claiming to be a prophet. Mirza says, whatever I have said, it does not even have the smell of prophethood in my claim. Just imagine, नबूवत की बू भी पाई जाती हो. And then he says, बल्कि जब कभी मैंने बात कही, I have just said this much whenever I said. And what was that? वो सिर्फ मारिफ व दकाइक कुरानिया की वजाहत के लिए कही है. He said that I only said, whenever I said these things like Nabi, this and that, I only said these things just to explain the deep points in the Quran. First, he said that don't even think that there is even a smell of claiming to be a prophet in my speech. And then he says, amal ka daromadar to niyaton par hai. He says actions are dependent on intention. Innamal amalu bin niyat. Why he said this? Understand this quote in what he said before. He said, in my speech, There's not even a smell of claiming to be a prophet. And then he says the following, and that's the last line. Look at this one. He says, Ma'az Allah. These are words of Mirza Ghulam Qadyani. He said, Ma'az Allah. He said, I seek Allah's refuge. कि मैं नबूवत का दावा करूं, that I claim to be a prophet. बात इसके कि अल्लाह ने हमारे नबी मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को खातमुल अंबिया बनाया है. He says that I seek Allah's refuge, that I claim to be a prophet after Allah has made our Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the Khatamul Anbiya. Now, if this one quote, Ruhani Khazan, volume 7, page 301, 302, if this one quote is not enough for you to understand, just imagine if Allah has appointed Mirza Ghulam Qadyani as a prophet, and he is saying that if even you find the smell of claim of a prophethood, then I am not even doing this much. And then he says, I seek Allah's refuge, that I make a claim of prophethood. And Shaykh will tell you, once Allah appoints somebody a prophet, it is the responsibility of that person to make a claim, I'm a prophet. That is how everything begins. Without that person making a claim that Allah has appointed me a prophet, there's no other point. This is the first thing he needs to tell people. And this guy is saying, I seek Allah's refuge that I make this claim. Jazakumullah khair.